This ancient stone relief carving represents Aramean military prestige. Naaman was a commander who secured massive victories, accumulating wealth and geopolitical power. But beneath the armor, his body was failing. He suffered from leprosy. No amount of silver or strategy could stop his skin's decay. Living right inside his house was someone at the absolute bottom of the social hierarchy, a young Israelite girl captured during a raid, serving Naaman's wife as a slave. Despite being ripped from her homeland and forced to serve her captors, she didn't harbor bitterness. Instead, she told her mistress about a prophet back in Samaria who could cure her master's disease. Naaman operated in a world of transactions. To secure this cure, he packed immense wealth, hundreds of pounds of silver, thousands of gold pieces, and 10 changes of fine clothing, heading south to essentially buy a miracle. As a top-tier, highly decorated military general, he naturally assumed this prophet would step outside to personally greet him, wave his hands over the infected areas, and perform a dramatic ritual fitting for a VIP. He was marching a caravan of wealth into Israelite territory, expecting to purchase divine favor. He was completely unprepared for how useless that transactional mindset was about to become. Naaman's massive, intimidating entourage finally pulled up to the rugged landscape of Israel, halting right at the doorstep of the prophet Elisha's house. Elisha didn't even walk outside. He deliberately stripped away all the pomp and pageantry, sending a messenger to speak to the commander instead. The message was frustratingly mundane. Naaman was told to travel to the Jordan River and wash himself in the water 7 times. Look at this 1890 photograph of the Jordan. It's a muddy, unassuming stream. Naaman was insulted. He argued that the crystal-clear rivers back in Damascus were far superior to this dirt, and he stormed off in a rage. It took the intervention of his own officers to stop him. They reasoned with him, pointing out that if the prophet had asked him to do something difficult or heroic, he would have done it instantly. Setting aside his status, the commander removed his armor and stepped down into the muddy water to obey. When he surfaced for the 7th time, his skin was as clean as a child's. The leprosy vanished the moment he fully aligned his actions with the prophet's command. Standing there with clean skin, Naaman abandoned the idea that gods were tied to specific borders. He returned to Elisha to announce that the God of Israel was the only one in existence. The healing was gated by Naaman's own pride. He had arrived with an entourage and a fortune, but the miracle required him to shed that armor of status and stand vulnerable in the mud. Overjoyed, Naaman immediately reverted to his old habits. He tried to settle the bill, offering Elisha the vast fortune of silver and gold he had brought from Damascus. Just as the laws written on ancient Hebrew scrolls like this dictate, Elisha categorically refused to accept a single coin. He established a hard line that divine grace is a free gift, impossible to monetize or earn through human wealth. But standing right next to Elisha was his servant, Gehazi. He was a religious insider, watching miracles happen every day, yet his heart remained deeply transactional and consumed by greed. Unable to let that fortune walk away, Gehazi chased down Naaman's chariots. He fabricated a story about unexpected guests, secured massive bags of silver and fine clothes, and secretly hid them in his house. When he returned, Elisha asked where he had been. Gehazi doubled down, lying to his master's face, in a desperate attempt to maintain his righteous facade. The judgment was immediate. Elisha exposed the lie, and Gehazi was instantly struck with the exact same leprosy that had just left Naaman. The physical disease now perfectly matched his internal decay. Look at where they both ended up. The foreign military commander, a total outsider, walked away perfectly clean and saved. The privileged religious insider walked away diseased and condemned. This is the leaven of Gehazi,